What do we got today, folks? Today we have the 2021 Sport Glide. So full disclosure, I wasn't planning on riding this bike. So if the information does not come to me, it will be down below. So this is not the first time we've been on this Sport Glide before. We rode one in 2019 or 2019, when the Sport Glide was fairly new. Some changes have been made. They now have color matched bags, which is a nice thing. It's something that I mentioned the first time. Still some pretty lean angles, for lack of a better term. In other words, lean angles are not great on the Sport Glide, and that's something that I definitely noticed the first time we rode this bike. But we're going to try it out again today, see if we can't get a better impression of it as we ride about. As with every Harley-Davidson, you got turn signals on the right and left here, horn and trip toggle here on the left, low and high beams on here, and we've got cruise control. I'll let you know if that's standard here on this bike, but it's on this demo model here. I got on and off and ignition, and that is the very basic controls on a Harley-Davidson Sport Glide. Now, if you're a shorter rider like myself, I'm 5'6", and I have about a 30-inch inseam, and this Sport Glide isn't really a stretch at all. As you can see, reach the pegs fairly easily. My legs are bent. I am hitting my knee a little bit on this air cleaner, so that's something to be aware of, but I don't think that's too uncommon on a larger Harley-Davidson motorcycle if you're a shorter person. Like I said, I'm not extremely short, and I've been told you're not a short person, but in the United States, where the average height of a male is 5'9", I am a short person. So right off the bat, this has got a real cushy seat. You got to be careful with cushy seats though, because sometimes when the seats get real cushy, over a period of time, if you're riding for a long ride, that can turn into less soft, and you're kind of hitting bottom on these softer seats. So I know most of the time people who are buying Harley-Davidsons are going to swap out their seat. Okay, no peg drag there, and I think last time we probably would have. Got the rubberized pegs, and they look a little bit shorter than they did on the previous version, and maybe that was the reason why it felt like the lean angle was really small. It's about 27 degrees on both sides for this bike, so that's what you've got there. The 107 is standard, and I've noticed on the 2021 models that you're not able to get a different engine size on any model. It's just going to come standard with what it comes with, and this is a 107. And again, if that information is wrong, it'll be here on the screen. But like the Fat Bob is only available in the 114 now, so this one comes with a 107, and I'm sure as we open it up here a little bit, we're going to find out exactly how that feels. But a very comfortable riding position here. Like I said, I've got fairly longer arms at 5'6". I think my wingspan is about 5'10". And yeah, so very comfortable position. We got the forward controls here. Like I mentioned already, it's got pegs and not the footboards. And Liking the sound of the exhaust and the suspension here. You've got the monoshock rear shock and the upside down forks here in front. Nice and soft suspension. That, along with this really cushy seat, makes it for a really comfortable ride. Really well balanced, doesn't feel top heavy at all. We've got a 5-gallon tank here, which is a nice big gas tank. You know, some of the smaller, like the Fat Bob and the Street Bob, have that 3.5-gallon tank, which to me, I've never liked the change that they made there to make the smaller gas tank. But gas mileage is pretty good. I think it's about 47 miles to the gallon with the Street Glide. And so, you know, there's nothing to complain about, I don't think, there. So we're actually going to get on a stretch of freeway here. And we're going to open it up just a tad bit here. Make sure everybody's with us on this demo ride. Nice soft shift. You know, there's not that classic Harley clunk anymore. These counterbalance engines make it so there's hardly any vibration. If you are coming from a sportier bike, though, you're going to notice the vibration a little bit more. Woo! Yeah! Alright. Does have some giddy up. That's 107. Really does it. Oh! This guy over here on the left really slowed down to 55. This is 70 mile an hour freeway. But what are you going to do? And this bike is, I mean, this is handling this speed like no problem. Just for comparison, I ride a KTM 1290 Super Duke R, and I also own a 1200 Roadster Harley-Davidson. And you know, once to get up to speed, you can feel the bike working. But with these new Milwaukee 8 engines, it's just so easy. The speed rolls on so easy here on the throttle. I am noticing too, with this little mini fairing here, it is deflecting the wind just a little bit. I ride this highway every once in a while, and usually with my bikes that have no windshields, you know, you can feel that wind hitting you in the chest. And this is doing a pretty good job. And the other nice thing that it's doing is I'm not feeling a whole lot of buffeting, which you'll feel when you have a really big, like a Batwing fairing on the Street Glide or you know, that giant fairing on the Road Glide. There's hardly any buffeting at all here. Yeah, the speed is easy, the ride is comfortable. You know, this is about as comfortable as a ride I think you're going to get on a Softail is here with the Street Glide. You know, the only thing it's missing are those nice cushy foot boards where you can just kind of rest your whole foot on there. You got the pegs, which is what I'm used to, and it's really nice, really comfortable. If you're a newer rider, you know, when you're intimidated by a heavy bike, and this bike weighs in at about 700 pounds. And so that weight might intimidate you, but trust me, you get on the bike, you take it off the kickstand, and you don't feel the weight. And the same goes, once you get this bike going, it does not feel like a 700-pound bike. I'm not going to rock it back and forth like the guy did in front of me, but trust me, you know, when you're riding a big bike, you might think that weight, you're really going to feel it when you ride. But it's not the case here with the Street Glide, at least. Sport Glide, excuse me. Haven't really tested the lean angle out here, but all in all, what a nice bike. You know, I'm not a big fan of chrome on a motorcycle, especially on newer motorcycles. To me, chrome is old school, and I like seeing it on custom, you know, old vehicles and old cars and old motorcycles. But I'm not a huge fan of chrome on new bikes. I'm gonna turn right again here. Can't really test this lean angle out here because this guy doesn't really want to get on it. Oh, the joys of a group demo ride. Coming up on another turn here. This is a gorgeous ride here in Vacaville, California. Big shout out to Iron Steed, who always has that Harley-Davidson demo truck out for demo rides. If you are interested in buying a Harley-Davidson, I can recommend Iron Steed. They're a good dealership. I've been on test rides out here as well. And also brought my bike in for service there. And again, this guy's just taking this turn really slow, so can't really get into it. Maybe we'll put some space here in between me and him, so I can take that turn a little faster. See, and we can test this lean angle out. But I can tell on a long ride, this riding position isn't gonna wear on you. Oh man. He's really taking that slow, which is understandable, you know, especially if you haven't ridden a Harley before. You don't know, and you don't know these roads. It's fine. This bike, it just at 5'6", it feels like it fits me. It fits me well. I'm not leaning forward because the bike's not too big for me, and my feet don't have to really reach for these forward pegs, and it's just an overall really comfy ride. So another thing, if you're wondering about Harley-Davidson motorcycles, if maybe you're concerned about all that power, if you're coming from a smaller bike, maybe a Sportster, or maybe you're looking at a second bike and you're wondering, you're like, oh man, 107 cubic inches, that's a lot of power. You know, you got to look at it from a different perspective, not just the raw cubic inches as far as the bike goes, but you also got to look at the numbers, and we'll put some of those numbers up here: horsepower, torque, and basically Harley-Davidson motorcycles, it doesn't matter how big they are, the power is very linear. You know, you can add a kit, you can stage 1 it, stage 2, stage 3. I don't even know how many stages there are anymore. I'll have that up on the screen. But you can mod these bikes to be more peppy. You can mod them to be more comfortable. And so that's just not something I would ever worry about. You know, and again, like I said, with the weight, you gotta go out and try them. Find a dealer in your area that's doing Harley-Davidson test rides and get out on one, because really that's the only way to find out. And if you're really serious about buying one, you know, dealers are more than happy to take you out on a ride on one of the bikes on the lot, especially if you're interested in buying it. So don't hesitate to do that. That's one thing that I always tell people who watch my review videos: get out and ride one, because you can trust what I say to a certain degree. You know, I come with about 7 or 8 years of Harley riding experience and 12 overall. So I've been riding for quite a long time. And so I come with some experience, but my experience on Harley-Davidsons and on these bikes... What are you... I'm not sure what this guy is... Yeah, you know, I've ridden Harley touring bikes, and I've ridden other touring bikes before. The comfort level on this bike is comparable to a touring bike. It really is. You know, like I said, aside from having the pegs here instead of boards, this is a really comfortable ride. If you've ridden Harleys before, you know about the vibration in the handlebars and in the foot pegs. But this bike, especially with the counterbalancing that they've done here, it's minimal. It really is. If you're coming from the outside in, riding from a really smooth, sportier brand, if you're riding from a BMW or a Honda, I've never ridden a Honda, I've definitely ridden a BMW touring bike, and there's very little vibration, and this is not nearly there as far as the vibration minimization. But it's very, very manageable, especially from someone coming from the outside in. And if you're used to riding an old Harley, this is going to be really nice for you. So I talked a little bit before about high speed and how it handles. Feels really nice, really easy power. We weren't able to get into any real, you know, hard turns at higher speeds on this ride, but slow speed maneuvering is really nice. I don't ever feel like the bike is getting away from me as far as you know, shifting down when you get into a slower speed turn. Everything about this bike is manageable. But the two bikes that I ride right now are sub 600-pound bikes, and this bike comes in wet. You know, once you got your gear on and you're on it, it's over 700 pounds. So just not putting my feet down here just to see how it feels. And yeah, this bike, even more so than I remember, is very well balanced. You know, I feel like I can, you know, my kind of gauge of how well balanced the bike is is how it handles here when I'm just about stopped, how well it holds itself up as long as the bike is moving. And man, this bike just rides itself. So they've still got the same I want to call them cast aluminum wheels. Like I said, I'll put it up here on the screen so you know for sure. Single-sided disc brake here in front, and the single in back is normal. It's something I think Harley likes to do on their motorcycles because they want to show off that front rim. You know, I've always been of the school of thought that 2 brakes in front is better than 1. But this bike does come standard with ABS, and I just think, you know, that front wheel looks really good, but you know what looks even better? Me staying out of the hospital because my bike didn't stop in time. I like that look of me being healthy and not dead. But no, that wheel, it's a nice looking wheel. I will admit, they like to show them off, and that's fine. I haven't noticed any trouble stopping with that front brake. But again, you know, in those oh crap situations, that's when the real test comes. You know, that front brake does really well by itself when you're just cruising along and riding without any trouble. But you know, as soon as you have to really jam on that brake, that's when you figure out how well that single disc brake does in front. But guys, we're coming to the end of the ride here. If you have any questions about the 2021 Harley-Davidson Sport Glide, make sure you leave them in the comments. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. Guys, if you are out there riding, please be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I'm that one guy, and I am